Today, Jeffrey is the CEO and president of a leadership development company called Laurel Mountain Solutions. He's an acclaimed executive leadership coach where he helps successful leaders become even more effective leaders by achieving positive, lasting changes in behavior for themselves and the people they lead.
There's no particular demographic. I'm working in the home improvement industry. I worked in the automobile industry. I'm engaged significantly now in the healthcare industry. And it's clearly one pattern that I have seen in all of those so far and others is these leaders have never had anything. They've never had any leadership development opportunities, leadership development education. And so I'm filling a gap that they wish they would have had long ago.
Yeah.
So it's an easy fit. If they want it, I can help that cause. The goals principally are the same. How do you create goals? How do you help coach individuals to be successful? How do you develop strategies to achieve goals? How do you become an effective coach? How can you help gain competence and confidence in your ability to coach others? Most people don't even know that they need that. They don't even know what they're missing. In the Army, all this has become second nature to us because we do it, we live it. It is part of our culture. When you leave the Army and you go spend time in the business world, it's often a glaring gap in there because they just have never invested in it. They don't know what they're missing. They don't know where or how to go. So when I get calls like that, it's like, let's talk about what it is that you need, and let's help get after fundamentals of leadership development that you need.
What are some of the biggest mistakes that you see leaders do? Do they not listen? Do they not engage? Do they not perhaps have the staff and the team members feel like their contributions are important?
I think all of that.
All of the above.
It's interesting. You know, listening is perhaps the most important skill that leaders at all levels have to do, but especially as you grow and move up the chain in your business world. Perry Smith, my longtime mentor and coach, calls the ability to listen squinting with your ears. And I really love that analogy because as we grow and we are smarter, we have a tendency to listen less. Mm-hmm. Most of us around the meeting table are always thinking about the next thing we got to contribute and not listening to a word that's being said around the others. As senior leaders, we often struggle with not telling others how smart we are all the time.
Right.
And I struggle with that. It was not an easy thing to do. But if you're going to help develop others, you got to be able to listen. And listening directly impacts respect, camaraderie, teamwork, trust, all of that. But also another great leadership behavior that I come across is effective delegation. If you're going to delegate effectively to your executive team or to the next level down, whatever it is, delegation by itself isn't necessarily good. If you delegate a task with responsibility and authority to a guy or gal who is not capable, is not competent, or doesn't care, is not committed to the task, it can be a disaster for an organization. First of all, I am absolutely committed to the stakeholder-centered coaching methodology that Marshall Goldsmith created. What I bring also is really, that might separate me from a lot of, is I was an executive in the United States Army. I spent 32 years there, and many years as a colonel and a general officer, and so I've lived it. I've made a lot of mistakes. I know I have lots of examples of what right looks like and what right doesn't look like, so I've lived it, and I can share my own personal stories that might embellish and might help the stakeholder-centered coaching process.